Amelia stood frozen in thought. Why did he care so much about who she dated? Javier, I appreciate the concern, but don't you have better things to worry about than my dating life? Like the entire country of Spain? Her snippy response rubbed the already sour prince the wrong way. Shouldn't I worry when the mother of my son appears desperate? What kind of example does that set for him about self-worth? Amelia narrowed her eyes. Do you know my grandmother reminds me at least 3 times a day that no man wants to raise another man's child. She tells me I'm too picky and should be grateful to land a middle-aged divorcee who might not be easy on the eyes, but is willing to commit. My entire family treats me like tarnished goods. And on some level, I know my worth, that I'm more than all those things. But it takes a toll to hear that day in and day out for half a decade. It upset Javier to hear how the pregnancy warped her self-image and altered her family's perception of her. He felt a tinge of guilt, wishing he could shield her from all that. Amelia. Please, Javier. I can't stand here and listen to you lecture me on standards when your dating pool is full of heiresses and future queens. We do not live or date in the same world, so spare me. Amelia pushed past him to walk to her room, and he grabbed her hand, stopping her. Listen to your son. He's the only smart one who sees you for who you are. A big star. Javier's piercing gaze bore into her, and she could feel the heat of his hand around her wrist. He leaned in close, and she tensed, unsure what he was about to do. Then he warned. So don't let me catching you try to make some stepdad. I'll send the guy packing. Amelia was baffled. Who gave Javier the right to impose demands on her love life? She opened her mouth to tell him so, but he strode away, and she heard the sharp slam of his bedroom door. The next morning, Max joined the breakfast table to find Javier reading the newspaper, per usual. Good morning, son, the prince said. Good morning, Dad, replied Max, rubbing the sleep from his eyes. Oh, where's Mom? Javier shrugged. She always wakes me up with a morning hug, but she never came. I'm gonna go find her. Javier put the newspaper down. No, stay. Sit down and eat. We need to have a man-to-man talk. Uh-oh, reacted the 5-year-old, his cute face scrunching up. Is this 'cause I changed your phone's wallpaper? Because I can change it back. Javier picked up his phone and checked the screen, which now featured a monkey making a silly face. That was you? I thought it was an update. How did you get my password? Never mind. We need to discuss something before your mom comes down. Max was intrigued now. Not sure what to expect, Javier dragged his chair closer. Son, he began, his tone somber. I know you're only trying to help when you encourage your mom to go on dates. But the kind of men who go on blind dates are usually... Understand? So don't do that anymore. But, Dad, if you're not going to marry her and her ex-boyfriend Charles isn't either, do you want Mom to be alone forever? Max's argument was difficult to counter. Luckily for Javier, Amelia arrived just in time to save him from his son's inquisition. Good morning, sweetheart. I'm sorry, I was so wrapped up in studying that I lost track of time. She hugged Max tightly and turned to Javier with a noticeably cooler tone. Morning. Javier gave an indifferent nod in reply. Just then, Amelia noticed Javier was sitting unusually close to Max, instead of in his usual spot. But she shrugged it off and sat on the other side of her son. Max cutely tugged on Amelia's sleeve. Mom, do you like that man you went on a blind date with? Amelia glanced sideways at Javier and answered firmly. Sure. He seems like a man who is warm, kind, and opposite of shameless, and wouldn't try to control my life. Max's eyes widened. You figured all that out with your eyes closed? Amelia smiled. Like I told you before, Max, that's not how blind dates work. Max grinned back. Well, if you like him, then it's all right with me. But then the child felt Javier glaring at him, displeased. I mean, unless he's a... Then that's not good. Max quickly corrected. Amelia frowned. Max, that's not a nice thing to call someone you don't know. In fact, don't call anyone a... even if you do know them, she scolded. Let's change the subject. This isn't appropriate breakfast talk. Max, however, found he was also irked by his dad trying to control him and wanted to push his buttons. Mom, since Dad doesn't want to marry you, it's okay for you to go on lots of blind dates until you win a boyfriend to be your husband. And actually, if you do marry that's okay with me as long as you like him. Amelia was stunned by Max's unfiltered honesty and the logic behind his words. Meanwhile, Max avoided looking at his father, afraid that Javier might be murdering him with his eyes. Javier stood abruptly, his chair scraping the floor. Come on, Max. Good news. Your dad is taking you to school today. Max's eyes widened in panic as he turned to his mom for help. Oh, no, please. I want to go with Mom. Amelia wanted to laugh at her overly dramatic son. I'm sorry, baby. I really need to study for my exam. Let your dad drive you. Max gulped. He would now have to face the endless 10-minute journey to school with the dad he antagonized all morning. Javier waited for the car to start moving before turning to Max in the back seat. His tone was sharp as he began to lecture his son. What happened back there? Didn't we agree not to encourage your mom to go out on blind dates? Not only did you do the opposite of that, but you went a step further and told her to marry the guy. Max didn't flinch under the interrogation. Dad, do you like Mom or not? Javier scrunched his face, denying the obvious. I think your mom is a very good person and a great mother, but if you're about to ask me to marry her again, I already told you I won't. Max shook his head, unimpressed. Then, sorry, Dad, but you lose. Big Star is very pretty and lots of guys want to blind date her. So if you won't marry her, then I'm going to tell her to marry one of them. How was this kid as hard-headed as his mother? Do you want to end up the stepson of someone lame? Javier commented, pettily. See if your lame new stepdad will teach you how to assemble weapons. Max crossed his little arms and sat back in a pout, but Javier didn't apologize. Instead, he pouted equally and gave his son the silent treatment for the rest of the trip.
Wait, that's not the end. You've just had a free taste. Now get the full story on the Pocket FM app, link in description. Check out our next video and playlist, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.